The 2024 Jamboree marked the end of our very first IGEM season. We were amazed, proud to have won a silver medal, and even more proud of the incredibly hard journey that had brought us there. Judges had found our 2024 project that was focused on the critical issue of plastic pollution very innovative, and at first we planned to keep building on it to further explore how PET could be used to transform PET into a material capable of capturing CO2 and pursue our time-to-act adventure. So some of us, essentially those who had not yet left for university or changed schools, Sophia, Emily, Alexis, Danya, Gabriel, Samar, Mansur, Nicholas, and our Wikimaster Arthur, decided to do it all over again to pursue our project. But coming back from Jamboree, we also realized something bigger: the true scale and impact of IGEM, both on our team and on each of us as individuals. But as we welcomed some more than 30 new members from CEGEP and from not one this year, but 4 different secondary schools of our region, the Outaouais, something unexpected happened. They wanted to create something new, a project that they could truly call their own. So as a team we listened. Together we chose to focus part of our energy on another global threat: the rise of antimicrobial resistance. This video, crafted by some of our new members Emile, Katerina, Gabriel and Rosalind, describes our journey into the 2025 IGEM season. We are on the verge of a silent pandemic, a crisis that could push our modern healthcare systems back 70 years. Imagine a world where, by 2050, we count 10 million deaths annually from infections that are simple to treat today, with millions more living with life-altering complications. Imagine a world where routine surgery becomes a life-or-death gamble. A world where disease as frequent as pneumonia, urinary tract infections, skin infections or gonorrhea become easily life-threatening. Such is the future that the rise of antimicrobial resistance, AMR, holds in store for us. This crisis is the result of decades of antibiotic overuse and misuse, not only in human medicine but also in agriculture. And it doesn't stop at the farm gate. Practices such as spreading manure or sewage sludge that are currently used to fertilize fields and promote the efficient growth of our vegetables and culture create entry pathways for antimicrobial resistance into the environment. This accelerates the movement of resistance genes into our soils, groundwater and rivers, and this is further promoted by climate change. In brief, because antibioresistant genes are selected by our various human activities, this fuels the rise of antibioresistant and multi-antibioresistant bacteria that threaten us all. As young people, we see this crisis as a call to act, to learn, to innovate, and to rethink how we tackle antimicrobial resistance by connecting human, animal, and ecosystem health. A One Health way. We wanted to start by helping our local communities, our home region, the Outaouais, which is the host to roughly 400 animal farms, among which 300 are beef farms and 70 are dairy farms. Through our discussions with local farmers, we discovered a critical flashpoint for AMR. Our conversations revealed that antibiotic use varies dramatically by operation and according to the beef life cycle. Calves are typically born in the spring and raised on pasture by their mothers, a phase where farmers with breeding herds use antibiotics sparingly. By the end of summer, however, these calves are weaned and sold to specialized backgrounding and finishing operations. It is at this point that the stress of transport, commingling of animals from multiple farms and changes in diet create conditions that make outbreaks almost inevitable, particularly bovine respiratory disease or BRD. The estimated economic impact of this disease is $3 to $4 billion annually in North America. To prevent such devastating losses, farmers often have no choice but to systematically use antibiotics. While this is a rational decision to protect their herds and livelihoods, it also makes these farms a front line in the battle against antimicrobial resistance. Faced with this challenge, our IGEM project, One Health Outaouais, was born. Our initial vision was holistic and ambitious: to create the first ever resistem map of our region. But we quickly realized that, despite the global scale of the antimicrobial resistance crisis, there was essentially no local data to support evidence-based decisions. We therefore imagined a tool that could support citizen science initiatives, just like a BioBlitz where communities come together to map biodiversity, but this time to map antibioresistance like the PAIR project from Tufts University. We hence turned to LAMP technology, or loop-mediated isothermal amplification, a method presented as simple, fast, and inexpensive, practical in the field but also accessible to a wider community. Finally, as illustrated by the high percentage of high school IGM teams of the infectious diseases village, using this technology was accessible for our skills. This was the start of our engineering cycle and our journey of learning what measurement means. We first trained to be precise. Our younger members optimized qPCR for several important AMR genes that we hoped could help us to benchmark our future lamp assays. In the process, they also developed focus and reproducibility, discovering that not all pipettes can be trusted. On their side, CEGEP students started to reproduce published lamp assays for the integron integrase 1 gene, INT-I1, a marker of mobile elements that spread antimicrobial resistance. LAMP takes advantage of a special kind of polymerase that can displace DNA strands without denaturation steps. The one that is used commercially is the Bacillus stereothermophilus, or BST. It typically operates between 60 degrees Celsius and 65 degrees Celsius and uses more primers than regular PCR. Reports that we initially found described the use of 6 primers. Some core primers F3, B3, FIP and BIP, and some optional loop F and loop B primers. These primers recognize 6 of the target sequences, and altogether give the method its remarkable specificity and speed. We initially applied the published protocol for INT-I1 that included 6 primers and a 30-minute amplification. Despite weeks of troubleshooting modifying key parameters, such as magnesium concentration, betaine, and amount of BST, we were unable to obtain specific signals for this gene. The breakthrough came when we removed loop primers and reduced amplification time to 15 minutes. Importantly, when we used our new 4-primer 15-minute LAMP protocol, we successfully amplified new targets like 16S and MCR1, and were able to detect as few as 20, even 2, copies of INT-I1, suggesting that despite our simpler procedure we were able to reach a sensitivity that was as or maybe even higher than the one initially published and faster. When we assessed these first semi-quantitative results, using a more quantitative approach allowing us to follow the amplicon amplification in real time, also named QLAMP, we obtained similar results. Further investigations will however be needed to complete our assessment of all our LAMP assays. These results gave us the confidence to also start designing primers for a new test for the TET-A gene that is linked to tetracycline resistance and is common in Quebec's beef industry. During this period of intense work in the laboratory, we kept questioning our own ideas by reaching out to AMR researchers, veterinarians, and, above all, farmers in our region. One of them, Stanley Christensen, who is a farmer, but also the president of the Beef Farmer Union in Quebec, helped us to better understand what was actually at stake. Listening to all these voices changed our perspective. We realized that our initial plans to build a regional map of resistance would not be enough. What farmers truly needed was support in making real-time, cost-effective decisions, without adding up new constraints and work to their already overwhelming job. Tools that could help them act faster with greater confidence. Behind every dataset, we came to see the reality of people carrying a heavy burden, often feeling isolated as they navigate immense challenges to protect both their animals and their livelihoods. This was the turning point of our One Health Outaouais project. We shifted our focus from simply collecting data to building a solution, pivoting our project's mission toward creating a powerful decision support tool, and started to dream about offering a low-cost portable QLAMP assay to the farmers of our community. This evolution marked the birth of Vigil Farm, a decision support platform designed to replace blanket antibiotic use against BRD with precise, evidence-based interventions that can be personalized to any given farm. The platform that we imagined will offer 3 complementary services. Service 1 is a first-line triage panel kit that we decided to build and test this season. 16S INT-I1 and TET-A. This provides a direct answer to go or no-go on the use of frequently used tetracycline antibiotics on a given group of calves. Service 2 is a proactive service providing an annual panoramic view of a farm's unique AMR landscape by analyzing the resistom found in the water trough, based on EDNA sequencing using the Minion technology that Alexis has been able to learn with our collaborator, Jan-Serge Groba, an eDNA expert at the ISFORT Institute of the University of Quebec in Outaouais. Service 3. We plan to personalize a Vigil Farm kit based on the results from proactive audit of the specific resistem of the farm. We think that the expertise we've gained could allow us to easily expand Vigil Farm, developing new ad hoc assays needed against key other resistance genes, for example the ones that are conferring resistance to last resort antibiotics, such as carbapenemase. We also plan to adapt our kits for other livestock needs like the swine industry, based on our optimized MCR1 lamp assay that could help detect the potential rise of resistance to colistin in the Quebec swine industry early. The story of One Health Outaouais is one of evolution, from a broad scientific ambition to a focused human-centered solution. We began by asking, what and how can we measure? And ended by asking, how can we help? The result is Vigil Farm, a platform that does more than detect genes. It provides clarity, supports the farmers who sustain our society, and helps to protect the efficiency of antibiotics for future generations. But our work this year did not stop with technological innovation. We also sought to increase the impact of our team, the only high school IGEM team in Canada led by a high school, and we targeted several fronts. After the 2024 Jamboree, we decided to make our initiative shine to demonstrate its potential to transform education as we usually see it, not only in our region but also at the provincial level, to inspire other institutions with the infrastructure and scientific expertise to develop their own IGM teams in Quebec, or at least to launch new initiatives inspired by the IGM philosophy. To achieve this, we took part in several STEM competitions and presented our 2024 IGM project, Time to Act, focused on revalorizing PET to create mesopores with CO2 capture properties, to the wider community. At the Expo Science Outaouais in March, we reached more than 250 people, including students, teachers, and politicians at the municipal, provincial, and federal levels. There we won first prize in our category, the Hydro-Quebec Grand Prize, and earned an invitation to the provincial finals in Montreal. This event brought us into contact with nearly 400 new people, including families, teachers, political representatives, and even members of several Quebec ministries, further amplifying the reach of our project. We also won the first prize in innovation, and our two representatives, Emily and Sophia, each received a university fellowship to Laval University in Quebec. At the same time, we entered the OS Entreprendre entrepreneurship competition, winning not only at our school level but also at the regional level, where we proudly stood as high school students competing against university students. To expand our impact nationally, we helped organize the Great Canadian Meetup in collaboration with our neighbors from iGEM-Outaouais, alongside teams from Queens and McGill. 11 teams from across Canada participated in what became the largest IGM gathering in Canadian history. As the only high school team present, we pitched our project in front of judges and earned a very respectable 5th place. We were also interviewed on a national radio to discuss our project and expand our reach. One of our younger members, Jan, also participated in an international IGEM gathering organized by IGEM-Outaouais on antibioresistance. We also took every opportunity to share our work with our local community. On our institution's Environmental Day, September 26th, we presented in front of the entire Cégep de l'Outaouais, 500 people, as well as in front of student crowds in our own secondary schools. And on October 17th, just before leaving for Paris, we were invited to present to the entire socioeconomic community of the Outaouais region, which was gathered to discuss concrete actions for sustainability. Finally, through our collaboration with Jan Sergit Groba, we also contributed to a cause that lies at the heart of our values, protecting biodiversity and the remarkable natural heritage of our region. We hope that the technical expertise we've developed this season will help improve the monitoring of the endangered Blandings turtle and support ongoing efforts to preserve the unique ecosystems of the Outaouais. In each of these moments, we spoke as a new generation, a voice calling for action, thoughtful, united, and determined, a voice that believes science is not only about discovery but about care for our planet, for one another, and for the future we share. We hope our voice will keep echoing, supported and amplified so that the IGM philosophy may continue to grow in our schools, inspiring and empowering those who will follow, just as it has inspired us this year. Together we are ready for the next step. See you in Paris.